Hello everyone. In this video, I'll show you how to configure the entity list to display the records in the tabular format. The records in the table, it will be clickable. When you click the record, it will open the record in the edit page, and that configurations we will be discussing in this video. So before I proceed to the demo, let me tell you the setup I have currently. So I have logged into the dynamic solution. This is my dynamic solution, and here I have used the form DNLB portal student form. The layout of this form is this one. It has three tabs: general tab, class details tab, and payment details tab. I will be using the I will be using this form to display the records in the edit page, and this page I want to render. So for that I need to create the basic form using this form, and I will be using that basic form in the web page. So I will be creating the edit web page, and I will consume the basic form which is configured using this form, which is DNLB portal student form. Along with that, on the same student entity, I have views, and these there are several views which will come in the out of the box. I'm using the active student and inactive students view to display my records of the student entity on the web page. For that, I need to configure the list in the dynamics, and that list I will be adding to the web page. So that configuration is the part of the dynamics. I hope you have understood. Now coming to my portal management setting app, the portal development and configurations. So here, as I mentioned, I need to create the basic form using the form which I have configured in the dynamics, and the list to configure the list to display the list of records on the web page. So along with that, we need to give the permission on that entity. So for that, already I have created the table permission. This is the table permission already I have created, and I have associated that to my web role, this one, DNLB super user. I can show you that. You can see under super user I have the table permission of that one. It is having the global access and with all the privilege, and that web role is associated to my contact, which is trying to which I will log into the portal and try to access the records or the forms on the portal. Here I have logged into Power App Portal design here, just to synchronize my configurations which I will be doing in the portal management app, and then I have logged into the my portal here, where I will be showing you the demo. So that is the part of current setup. Now coming to the configurations, the first step is we need to configure the list, because those lists we will be displaying in the web page. So let's go to the list section. So under the content, we'll go to the list. We will get the new list here. I will name at I will rename I will name give the name of this list as DNLB, and it is a student list. I'll select the entity as DNLB student entity here. Now the website, and save. Okay, now here under the views, I need to configure the two views. One is the active student, which I mentioned before, active and inactive students. So those two views I need to add here. So already you can see it is selected here. Then another views is inactive. So I will select this inactive views. I will expand this, and the display name which will be appearing on the list to change the views here. So I will give that name as active student list, and then this is inactive student list, and I will save it. On this list we will be doing some configurations to display the records in the edit form. For that we will be doing later on, but let me create the another configurations which I need. So now my list configuration is done. Now I will be configuring the basic form which will be using to display the records in this form layout, in this field or tabs layout on the web page. I will be using that one. So for that we need to configure the basic form. So I'll go to the basic form here, create new basic form, name, student edit basic form, and the table name will be the student, and the form name will be the DNLB portal student form, which is the same form which we have designed here. Okay, and then the mode of this will be edit. So I'll take the edit, and you can see the it will automatically append the ID with query parameter as ID here. Then I will select the parameter, sorry, website as my website, portal website, and then save. So this is the configuration of the basic form. We have configured it. Now coming to the web page design. So to design the web page, we need the two web page here. One is to display the list of the record, another is to display the record in the edit form. So for that, I need to create the web template. So I will create the one web template here. Create new web template. So first of all, I will create the web template for the list page. So DNLB student list web template, and then website. I need to add some code here in the source, but I will do it later. Let me create the page template first. So I'll go to the page template here and then create new page template. And the name of the page template we need to give. This is a student list page template website. Then the type will be web template because I have configured the web template for this. So type will be web template, and it is automatically selected and save. Under this page template, we need to configure the new web page, and that will be the list web page. So I will create the new web page here. The name of this web page, DNLB student list web page website. The parent page will be the home page here for the list. Then partial URL will be student list, and the page template just now which I have configured, page template. The publishing state will be published, and here I'm using the list here. So I will select the list here, the student list which I have just now I have configured here. This is the list, right? The same list I am selecting under this web page and save. So once it is saved, you can see the content page is also created. We can cross check whether the correct entity list or list is selected on the web page or not. So you can see on the content page also the list is correctly selected here, so which is fine. So we have configured the web page. Now to check whether it is working or not, but before that we need to amend the web template here. So the web template which is I have configured here for the list here. So as I mentioned, I need to add some query here, that is liquid script here. Why? Because on the web page we have included the list. So to include this list in the page, we need to add some liquid code there. So on a small line code we need to include here. So for that I will be writing the few lines here. So that is, it is extends layout one column. Then we need to add the main block, main. Then we need to end this one, main block. So it is end block, and under that we need to add this a div container, div class container I'm adding to give the container class of the bootstrap here. It will give the proper alignment of the of the list table on the web page. So for that I can include that one. Then here I need to include the list. So it is include, then entity underscore list. The key ID will be page.adx underscore entity list dot id. So here, and this is the schema name or the logical name of the entity list which we have configured. So it will include any entity list selected on the web template, on the web page, sorry, and which is using under this web template. So it will select that list and it will include that one. So I'm saving that one. So that was the a small code we need to add on the web template. So now my list page, list web page is set up. Now I can check that one. So before that, let me synchronize the configuration. Okay, so now it is synchronized, and I'll go to the URL here and then try to append this URL which I have configured for the web page, that is student list. Now you can see the my grid is loaded here. So that was the first step we have configured. Now the second step is this, you can see these records are still not clickable. So when you, we are not able to click that one, so that it will open the new page to display the records in the in this format. So we already have configured the basic form for that form. So now we will be configuring the web page for to display the records in the edit page. So for that, again we need to configure the new web template. So I will go to the new web template here. It is dnlb student edit web template. Under this web template, we need to add the new page template. I will give the name of this page template dnlb student edit page template website, and the type will be web template again. So it is edit web template is selected here and save. So under this page template, we need to add the new web page to display the record in the edit page. So create the new web page here. Then I will give the name of this one dnlb student edit edit web page. The website will be the my website, and then parent page here, because in the URL how I want is that after the list I want to display the edit here. So for me the parent page will be this one which I have configured, so a student list. So for that I will be selecting the parent page as dnlb, and that is the list page. So this is my parent page here. Now the partial URL will be edit student, and the page template which we have configured for edit pay web template, edit dnlb edit page template. Then publishing state will be published, and here we need to select the basic form which we have configured. So this is the basic form we have configured. So and after that we can save. So once it is saved, you can see that the local content page is also created. We can verify that the basic form is also selected there. So yes, it is selected on that lookup here. So once the my web page is configured for the edit, now we need to include the this basic form which we have selected here into the liquid script for in the web template. So the web template used on this web page is nothing but the student edit web template. So I will be writing the small code here also to include my web form, or include my basic form here which I have selected on the web page. So for that there is a small script. So same way we'll include that one. So extends layout one column, then the main block again, end of this block and block. Then we need to include the of this basic form. So for that before we can add the div tag for class container to give the proper alignment of the form on the web page. Then we'll check if the we'll check in the liquid script if the web page contains the any entity form here, entity basic form here, we can say entity form. So it is if page dot adx underscore entity form, if it has, then we can add that one. So here let me end this if, and if, and then we will include that one. So it is entity form id page dot adx underscore entity form dot id. So this is the small script we can add to display the record. So now to test it whether it is working or not, so as I mentioned, we need to we our aim is to render this page, which web page which we have configured when we click any of this link. So now currently this list is not clickable here because we have not configured the list as per that to make this clickable. So for that, let me first synchronize this configuration. So I'm synchronizing that, and I'll show you after synchronization whether it is still displaying in the clickable or not. So you can see still it is not clickable. So now I'll show you the three different way which we can make this list as a clickable and open this record in the edit page. So for that, first of all, the small configuration is that you can see when you go below this view configuration, you have the web page for details. When you select that one, your web page for edit. So this is your edit web page. So I will select that one and save. After the saving, I will resynchronize the configuration and try to reload this page again. It may take some time. I will do the refresh for multiple times. Now you can see the link, these records are link clickable type. So when we will click that one, it will open in the edit page with the id appended. You can see this is my root url and the id, the edit student page is loaded with the id, it is appended here of that record, and it is displayed in the form how we have designed here in the same way. So this is the one of the way we can do that one. So that is the one step, one way to do that one. Another is, let me remove this first, save, and then synchronize the configuration. Okay, it is synchronized. Now try to reload this again, the list page. Now you can see the link is again not clickable. So that was the one configuration by adding the web page here in the below, in the web page for details view. You can do that one. The another is using the options here. So on the option, we are having the grid configuration. On the grid configuration, we can add the buttons to display the record in the edit form. So we can have the buttons to display the details, and the edit also, it will work in the same way. So I'm here going to add the details and edit both the buttons. And for the details, I'm going to select the web page, and the web page for me is edit student web page. And the label I want to display is that display details, details record, something like that. I can give the name of the button, details record, and next is web page again, and this is for me for edit, so it is edit record, like that, and save it. After the saving, I need to resynchronize the configuration again. Okay, now try to reload this again. Now you can see the records are displaying, but you can see the a small icon is showing here to display the buttons which we have configured. So just now we configure the buttons for the details record and the edit record, and the web page we want to land is this one, edit web page, which we want to display when someone will click on this button. So that is what, when I click on the details record, it will open the record in the details. Okay, and when I will click on edit, it will open the record in the edit. So this is how, this is the another way to display or open the record from the list. There's another way also using the coding way, I can tell you. And what we will do is that by through the code we will make this link as a hyperlink, and when someone will click, then we want to make this URL as a hardcode URL. This URL we will hardcode in the code, and when someone will click, then we'll append that ID here and it will display the URL here. So for that we need to do some code change on the list configuration. So before that, let me remove this configuration so that I will reset the table configuration. So I have removed, saved. I will resynchronize the configuration and refresh. It will take some time. Reload again. Reload again after this configuration. Now you can see the table is reset now. So again, now what I was trying to say is that we will make this field, this all the columns of this record as a hyperlink. So when someone will click on this one, then we will hardcode the URL of the entity list, the list sorry the edit student here with the ID, and then when someone will click on that hyperlink, it will open that one. So for that we need to write this small script on the entity list. So we can go to the same entity list and option tab, and instead of modifying the grid configuration, we can add some code here. So let's add some code. It will be our jQuery code. So first of all, when the document is ready, then we'll call this function, and under this function we need to find the table with the class name. So when we see the in this grid here, this table grid, when we right click and inspect, we will see the table how it is coming with the class name. So you can see the table is class name is entity list. Under the entity list, we can see when I'm clicking that one, the entire table is being selected. So entity list, and then we are having the grid here. Then we'll select the grid. So we need to select these two. So when it is loaded, then I want to make this as a hyperlink. So for that we will be writing the code. So we will take that one. So we'll identify this table first. So we'll use the class dot entity list, then dot, it is list entity grid. You can see the same name. First is entity list, then the class name is entity grid. So when it is loaded, so on loaded, I want to run the function, and inside this function I need to loop through all the child records. Okay, after calling the function on the load, then I want to loop through all the children's record of that grade here. So we have the a number of children record here. You can see under the list we can have the several children's elements here. So I want to loop through that one. So for that I need to find these grid here. So for that we will find like this dot children. It has children with the class name is view grid. That is the class name present here, right? view grid, and for that under this view grid we will find the element with TD. So we can have the element with the TD here, as I can mention here. This is the TD element under the table body, and for each table row we are having the table data ID, and that is the record ID which is displaying. So we can see this is the record, each individual record which is displaying here, it is having the record ID. So that record ID, then I will have the, I need to find the uh, I need to find the ID of this one also to bind the in the URL. So for that, again, so I need to find that first. So TD, then under TD I have the data attribute as a DNLB name, because I want to bind on this attribute. So data attribute, let me copy this. Okay, and then find this data attribute. And once all the data attributes are found, for each we want to run the function, and for each function we want to retrieve the ID. So where, and that is student ID, and that will be this dot parent, because currently we have found this element TD. So we will go to the parent here, and from that we will retrieve this data ID, right? So this dot parent, and then dot attribute, and it is data ID. So my ID is for each record will be retrieved, and then I need to append that one. So we can use this dot wrap inner, and we will add the hyperlink here. So href equals, and then URL, the hard, we'll add the hardcode URL. So as I mentioned, we have the entity, sorry, we have the list here. So that is a student list. So that, then after that we have the edit student, then after that we'll have the question mark, then ID equals to, and then we need to add the student ID as a dynamic value here, then plus, then we'll close the hyperlink. So that's all. So this is the small script which we can add on the entity list on the custom JavaScript section, and save it. After saving, I will resynchronize the configuration and try to reload this again. It will take some time. Let me see if any script is giving error. So script is not giving any error, so I'll try to reload this again. Okay, my mistake. So this is not the DNLB first name, so I want to make this as a DNLB underscore name, save. For each, then student ID equal to this dot parent dot attribute data ID, fine. Then in the wrapper we are adding the hyperlink here, the student list, and edit student, and then ID. So this seems fine. Save it again, resynchronize the configuration. Now you can see the name field becomes hyperlink. So when I click this one, it will append the URL here, which we have hard coded here with this list, with this format, and then it will add the ID here, and it will display the record like this. So these are the three different way you can make the list as clickable and open the record in the edit form. So I hope this video was useful to you, and if you have any doubt, any questions on that, you can let me know. And thank you for watching this video, guys.